All right, question 33. I think this is 33. If it's not, it's close to what 33 asked. I think they ask you for the quadrant in which the sine function is greater than 0. I'm going to write it like that. So positive values of sine, and the cosine function is less than 0. So negative values of cosine, something like that. Okay. So you've got your axis here. So I want you to think about the definition of sine, and you can do this with coordinates or the traditional version, but I think the coordinate definitions will work better. So sine is the y-coordinate over the radius, okay? So think about it. If I need my y-coordinate over my radius to be positive, remember the radius is always positive. That's when you're rotating around. It's whatever that length is. It's the hypotenuse of your triangle. Always positive, okay? So if the sine is going to be positive, the y-coordinate is also going to have to be positive. Where are y-coordinates positive? Well, y is 0 here. These are your positive values of y, okay? So all of your y-coordinates are going to be positive for any angle that ends in the first quadrant or in the second quadrant, which means the sine function can be positive in the first quadrant and in the second quadrant, okay? Let's look at the cosine. We want the cosine to be, less than 0. In other words, we want the cosine to be negative, okay? Well, cosine of an angle is x over r, the x-coordinate over the radius, okay? The radius is always positive, okay? So if I want this to be negative, the x is going to have to be negative, okay? Where are my x-coordinates negative? Well, x is 0 here. X is negative to this side, okay? So in these two quadrants, my x-coordinates are going to be negative. And that means if I have an angle that ends over here, the x-coordinate's going to be negative. I'm going to have a negative cosine. If I have an angle that ends down here, the x-coordinate of that angle is going to end up being negative. I'm going to have a negative cosine, okay? What's the quadrant where sine is positive and cosine is negative? That would be quadrant 2.